Hello and welcome to season 3, episode 12, Quaint and Cozy KC. I am your host, Lainey Renee. We are back in the Kansas City area. Last episode, I took you back through my glorious time in Vermont, that magical time, but I am back in Kansas City and it's magical. It's a little different in the magical category, but it's still magical here. And wherever you're at, I hope it's magical as well. So today I'm going to go through I went to a lot of places in the past couple of weeks and I went back and forth and I'm like, you know what? I could probably do a whole episode, like 8 places that I went. And I thought, but why do that? Because I'm trying to shorten my episodes so it's not so long. So you get like this bite-sized thing. And it's easier, I think, to binge when you've got like maybe 30 minutes as opposed to like 45-minute episodes. Because I feel like sometimes around 35 minutes, things just start to drag, right? So I don't like to drag. I want to make sure I keep these episodes under 30 minutes whenever possible. So I'm going to split that up. So I'll be talking about some other things in the next episode, some places that I went last month. So let's start off with Platte City Farmers Market. I went there and last month for the very first time. Now, I was a little confused, and I just want to be really clear about this. If you're on Facebook, if you're one of those Facebook people like I am, they have Platte City Farmers Market too, and that's the one you should be looking at because they had an old farmers market page, and that's located in a different place. I think it was like in some kind of like a parking lot of like Price Chopper or something, but now it's moved to downtown Platte City, which is super charming. There's plenty of parking. So this is the kind of farmers market where it's not like Overland Park or City Market or even historic downtown Liberty. It's not an event kind of it's not an event kind of farmers market, but it is located downtown, so you can kind of create your own I would say your own experience. So it's kind of a small and mighty one. It's the kind of farmers market that you go to in addition to the store, right? So let's say you want to go to a big box store, like big box grocery store, but you're like, I want to support the produce at Platte City, the Platte City Farmers Market. They've got some really they've got like a honey. They have like someone that does honey and they do the honey candles, all that stuff. Great for gifts this summer for trying to kind of keep it like, nice and local. Totally great for that. There were some other artists there as well. So I definitely, it's the kind of, I feel like it's kind of similar to Grandview, kind of similar to Shawnee. It's a place that you go, you're gonna, meet up with your vendor friends because it's so easy to kind of get those easy kind of like acquaintanceship relationships that grow into friendships from, supporting the local vendors. But also what you can do is you can walk around the charming downtown. Platte City has a beautiful downtown. There's a beautiful uh, courthouse that has like this really nice like lawn and picnic area. I think it looks like they do some kind of like yoga class in the mornings on Saturday. So now listen, this farmers market is from a 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. So it's a little on the earlier side. I know some of these farmers markets are like 8 to 12 or 8 to 1 or something like that. But this is 7 a.m. to 11. Perfect. You can go down there, like walk around, catch some breakfast, go to the market, maybe walk around some more, go home, or kind of get it towards like what I like to do is I either do it towards breakfast time or I'll go and I'll check something out. This past visit here, I was not able to do that because I was on a pretty tight schedule, but that's something you could do. Find a little close by breakfast place, park your car, walk on down to the market, and then hang out, and then, maybe do like a nice little tour around the downtown or come around, I don't know, 10 a.m., walk around, pick up your market stuff, and then go to lunch. There's some cute little places around there as well. So again, I like it. I thought it had like a nice kind of, I don't know, like a cozy, charming feel to that downtown. Something I definitely would recommend. And again, it's not an event kind of farmers market, but it's nice for just kind of like that experience, that cozy experience, and talking to the vendors a little bit, and just kind of getting to know what they're doing. And so it was kind of cool. Next up, I went to the Ben Farrell Platte County Museum. Now, here's the funny thing. I had planned to go because so this is on a Saturday. I had planned to go the Friday before because I was in Lawrence, and I'll talk about the museum. I went there in the next episode, but I was actually there, and I was like, oh, and I kept looking, and I was like, wait a minute, they are not open on Saturdays, and I was like, oh wow, okay, that's fine. So I was trying to figure out another Saturday to go. Well, it turned out that when I went, They have this I went on June 21st. They have this crazy quilt and the creative and courageous women who made them. They have this exhibit. So they're open like once a month on Saturday. So they were open June 21st. They'll be open July 19th on a Saturday and August 16th. And what I really appreciate about this museum, I'll start with the kind of museum. Um, the staff member came, to the door because I was like, oh, wait, they're open. I was kind of like, I was taking some pictures. They have a beautiful, and I did take pictures. I do believe the pictures are posted on my Quaint and Cozy KC. I think it's on my Facebook page, but it might be on my TikTok. Again, I'll be kind of doing some updates. I've got so many. Yes, I do have it on my Quaint and Cozy KC Facebook page. You can kind of see it's beautiful outside. The house is beautiful. It's one of those mini mansions, beautiful like gardens, like all the things. And so, so I was taking pictures, whatever. So then, she opened the door and then we just started talking. And I told her kind of about Quaint and Cozy KC. And she was so knowledgeable about the museum. And I know the staff members are supposed to be and whatever, but I really appreciate it when the staff members are knowledgeable and they've got a passion for the history because that just kind of adds a great extra layer to everything. And so anyway, so what I did was is I took a couple pictures, but with these smaller museums, now there's an upstairs to it. There are some stairs with these smaller museums, especially with these smaller museums, I want to give you a glimpse, but I want you to go in and see it for yourself because it's so easy these days in social media land to like, people take pictures, they post all the pictures, and then people are like, oh, I feel like I've already seen it. And then they don't go and they don't support it. Now, this crazy quilt thing, it's an exhibit of 20 historic crazy quilt. And I loved, like, she, took me by, a lot of the quilts and gave me like the backgrounds. Like, this is what was going on when this quilt was made, and this is who made it, and this is what they used. So, again, if you are a crafter, quilter person, or you've got someone in your life like that, definitely a great exhibit. Now, they do have like regular hours as well during the week, but I know sometimes, people work and they are only open once a month on Saturday, so you do want to make sure that you get that Saturday if that's kind of what you need to do. But I also learned that like Strawberry Hill Museum and KCK, they have like a Christmas kind of exhibit. And she warned me, she said, listen, Thanksgiving is super busy. Like people line up to see it. So you probably want to come like more mid-December. I was like, oh my gosh. So now I've got to add that on my list. I've got to go on the holiday tour of these museums, which is to me super exciting. I'm very excited about that. And so I definitely would recommend, taking the time and again, downtown Platte City. Now, generally, this is only open during the weekdays. So what I would do is if you're someone who likes to take the half days in the summertime, and I know a lot of people that do that, they'll do that half day in the summertime, that Friday, Thursday, Friday, half day in the summertime. So this is the kind of place what you want to do is go and have lunch downtown, walk around, and then check it out. So it looks like, I just want to make sure I've got the hours. Okay, so looks like they kind of do have a more limited schedule during the summer. So it's Thursday, they're open from 1 to 4, and Friday, they're open from 1 to 4. That's like what they usually do during the week. So, okay, so now that you know that, a perfect half day. You do a half day at work, slide on into Platte City and check out the museum and then maybe do an early dinner afterwards or like a late lunch or something like that. Or maybe come on down for lunch and then come over, between 1 and 4 and check everything out. It's got a nice vibe and beautiful neighborhood to walk through as well. This is just one of those places where I want to do this walkable historic tour. I would totally sign up for one of those. Okay, now we are moving on to Somerset Winery. And so, listen, I have always been trying to go to the Somerset Winery, and it's a local place, and it is located. It's the Somerset Ridge Vineyard and Winery, and it is located in Paola, Kansas. Now I'm on the Kansas side. I know sometimes people hate it when I jump around. I went from Missouri to Kansas, and then so I've got my notes here, and I'm watching my screen go black. Okay, that's okay. We're just gonna keep moving here. Just gonna keep moving here, and so one of the reasons why I like this winery. It's beautiful. Now, a lot of wineries are beautiful, right? They're scaped right. You've got it. When you're at a winery, there's a certain expectation that you have. You don't want to go to a winery where, it's kind of like, it's like more cement blocks. It feels a little too, it doesn't feel like an escape. It just feels like, oh, look, I'm in a place that has four walls and wine. No, this is really picturesque. And, sometimes they have bands playing out there. They've got, other performers out there. Sometimes I went on a Sunday afternoon, and it was kind of hot, you guys. It's really kind of hot. But it was well worth it. And the staff there, very friendly. I went with a group of ladies, some lady friends, and it was just, and again, I only scratched the surface because I was only there for a couple hours. So, I walked around the grounds a little bit. I, took some pictures and everything. And I believe that they're either posted on Quaint and Cozy KC, or or like they're either on Quaint and Cozy KC Facebook, or I've got them on another social media. And that's one of the frustrating things about, because I've got accounts that are linked to each other. So I think, oh, did I put this on Instagram? Is this on Facebook? I have no idea. But if I don't have the pictures up, I definitely will post them because they are gorgeous. They are just straight gorgeous. And the vibe there to me was very, now they don't serve food. They have like a store. And so you can like do a charcuterie board in there. They've got some things like that. But I just, and it was so hot. I didn't want to eat a lot. I ate enough to kind of like, drink a little bit of wine and then keep going. But it was just a beautiful time. And I just watched everyone around me, even people not at our tables, just being relaxed and walking around and having fun. It just felt like an oasis in Kansas City. Now, granted, it is on the Kansas side and it's a little bit more rural, but still, it was a nice. This is the kind of winery that you go to, and I'm sure people get married there. I'm sure they have receptions, but this is and it's on a wine. There's like a wine tour stop. I think there's like maybe five wineries out there. There's like a wine bus that comes and picks you up, like a wine trolley or something. So it definitely would be a nice way to spend, like maybe not a Sunday afternoon if you got to go to work the next day, but definitely maybe a Saturday afternoon or a Friday kind of afternoon thing. Again, that there's with the when you take that half day, that summer half day on Fridays. I don't know what it is about that, but it just feels like pure magic whenever you do that. It feels like just a little extra treat for yourself. And that's something that I definitely would look into doing, and take pictures of like the flowers and all that. I took so many pictures of the flowers and just it just felt like an oasis. And that's really kind of like the vibes that I'm sure that we're all going for right now, just like a very relaxed oasis kind of thing going on. And so, yeah, definitely would take a friend there. Like it's going to be my new place to recommend if you're kind of in that area, and it's not very far away from Louisburg. I mean, the possibilities when you do this, when you think about when you go on vacation, and that's when I was coming up with this idea of Quaint and Cozy KC. I mean, when my mom, when she was still alive, she's really browbeating me about it. There's so many cute little places where you live that you might not know about because you're like, oh, I want to get out of this place, whatever. But you haven't explored what's in your own backyard. And so Louisburg which is super cute. And I haven't been to Louisburg in years, but I'm about to remedy that. I'm making plans this summer to head on down there. Now, generally people go there in the fall. It's that nice like September, October. It's where they do a pretty brisk business because they do like have a fall, like a cedar fest, not a cedar fest, a cider fest fall. I'm like cedar fest, a fall kind of cider vibe going on. But I also want to kind of check it out during the summer as well. So I'll go back in the fall, but I do want to check it out in the summertime as well. And so it's not that far away. To me, it's like in my mind, I'm like, oh, you could do this whole kind of Saturday morning, stop off in Louisburg first and then just explore the wineries or, however you want to do it. But it's very close. And then you kind of drive on back into the city and you're like 20, 25, 30 minutes outside the city. And so that's again, I love that because it's like this little oasis that's waiting for you. Okay, now I'm going to talk about a new quest. Like, I'm always talking about quests, right? Because I always have a lot of them going at all times, right? Right now, I'm looking at parks. I'm looking at always the museums and the farmers markets, but I'm always trying to check out a new park. And if there's a fountain at that new park, the new to me park, all the better. I'm always trying to just do new things that I haven't done before here in Kansas City, in the Kansas City area. But I'm going back because I think I talked about this maybe a couple years ago, last year, a couple years ago. But I talked about the theater companies. There's so many, like I'm like noticing more. There's more kind of theater going on here and shows and that kind of thing. And obviously, always live music. I support that because I do have a music degree. But I'm looking at all these things, and so that's kind of like probably another quest that I'm going to add on and layer it. Heaven help me with all my quests. I'm also seeing a lot with like poetry. There's some poetry things going on, and again, I know there's always been some poetry thing going on in Kansas City. There's a poetry scene here. I just have never kind of, I've been so busy that I've just kind of been like, oh yeah, there's poetry, and then I'm off doing something else. But I really want to be more intentional about, some of the things that I want to check out and want to support. And so there's a place called Blip Coffee Roasters. And they do like poetry underground open mic there at times. And so I've never been to Blip Coffee Roasters, and everybody I know goes there. And I'm like, I'm gonna go. And then I just get distracted with other stuff. But I'm making this summer, I'm going to Blip Coffee Roasters. Like it's in the West Bottoms. I'm gonna like, take the time and I know exactly where it's at. It's not even that far away from me. But I'm gonna actually take the time and go and check that out. And because I think it's important to kind of support that. And also, even if you're not a poet, it's really good just to go sit down, have a nice libation, maybe like a little bite to eat, and listen to writers, listen to people with their craft. Even if they're just mediocre, and I'm not saying anyone there is, but even if they're just mediocre, you're like, okay, well, that's okay. But still, there's just this feeling of relaxation that takes over you. And when you like listen to someone else's creativity or you witness someone else's creativity, I feel like it kind of reaches out to you and inspires you to kind of, be more creative in your life. It's just, again, a nice oasis, with everything going on in the world and stuff. It's a nice oasis and a great way to support, local artists and a local business as well. And that's something that, there was a meme that I posted on my personal Facebook account, and I've been seeing it everywhere. And I was like, you know what? I totally agree with this. This is like, I mean, something that we all need to kind of, keep in mind right now. It's really about and it's from the Whimsical Muse. I cannot stress this strongly enough. Support your local theater, cafe, bookstore, bakery, and library. We breathe life into these places when we support them. They need us, and more importantly, we need them. Oh my gosh, so true. And just something for us all to remember. One of my favorite places in Kansas City, just it closed last week, Redux Society, and they had dance lessons there, and they had all these different kinds of all these different kinds of like activities besides just dancing. And they had games and they had people that were, doing other like create all this creativity going on. And it made me so sad. And I had my last dance lesson there last Wednesday, and it was like salsa night or whatever. And it made me kind of sad. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the end of an era. And they're regrouping and they're going to do their thing. And I'm sure they're going to come back in a different form and before we know it. But still, it was kind of and I got super busy with a lot of stuff, that I'm doing. But it was good to see that people were really sad about it, in the sense of like there's a lot of people that in this community that relied on Redux. That was kind of like their community. And then we had the ReRoll Tavern. They are closed up north here. And Vignettes, they were doing the pop-ups. So they're, I think that they're working on, people are dispersing to other places in the city. And, and again, there's a lot going on with everything. And so it's harder to do a business versus 2018 or 2019. It's a lot harder. You're competing with a lot of things, and it's just a lot more expensive. But I mean, for me, I'm just trying to do what I can to support, local things, local communities. That's kind of what's keeping me going. And, going to these things and talking about them and kind of like evangelizing about them a little bit. But I tell people that's why I have the Quaint and Cozy KC podcast. about things to do around the Kansas City area and beyond. And also why I do my food podcast, Aunt Lainey, because I don't want to be the auntie that's trapping people. Like, listen to this old charming museum. Like, I feel like that when I talk about it. So I can get on this podcast, I can get on my blogs, talk about the stuff, and just really spark that interest and connect with people on that. And I've been told by several different people now that my podcasts are and my blogs are very comforting because I'm just keeping everything to a comfort thing. Everything is I'm not doing anything that is like political or anything like that. And it's not because I'm scared of politics. It's because I need a break too, right? I need a break, and I'm sure you need a break. And all I can do with the power that I have is support local. That's where I'm putting all my energy, is just supporting, local businesses, especially artists and creative people, that kind of thing. I really want to support them and keep them going because we need everyone's creativity, honestly, but like it keeps life good. Artists, creative folks, business owners, all that stuff, the mix, everybody coming together, it keeps things good. So thank you for the people that do reach out to me and let me know that it's a comfort show and all the comforting things that I talk about. And I love, I mean, I just really love doing these podcasts. And I get excited when I see them, like, oh wow, I've got a bump in listenership. Like, just oh my gosh, I've got about 30 more people listening to the podcast than they were last week. And I'm totally fine with it. I would do this podcast if only like my family was listening. That's how much I believe in what I'm doing right now, what like all the stuff that I'm kind of like experiencing with the local businesses and the local artists and all of that. Okay. So I was like looking to see, I was looking, okay, so what's going to be my comfort show that I'm listening to? There's a lot of shows I've been listening to, but I don't know if I would call them comfort. I feel like I need to listen to them a little bit more to kind of see, like, okay, is this comfort or is this just a couple episodes? That's one thing about podcasts because, sometimes people, it's like you'll listen to 6 episodes, like, yeah, this is my comfort show, and it just happened to be they were doing a series that had a lot of comfort show creators, and then you listen to the regular series, you're like, well, it's still good, but it's not, the vibes are different. So I want to kind of like change that. So here's one I did discover. Now this is more food, and I try to keep it separate, but I feel like, it's still a comfort. It's called the Go-To Food Podcast, and they're out of the UK, I believe. And so they interview like chefs. It's a very chef-driven show, but still, it kind of has a nice kind of vibe to it. And I found myself, I was kind of cleaning and listening to it, and I was like, oh wow, listening to people's journeys and all that. That definitely provides me a lot of comfort. And on that note, thanks everyone so much for your support. You can find me at quaintandcozykc.com. You can find me on the Quaint and Cozy Facebook page, Instagram Quaint and Cozy KC, on the Tickety Tockety Quaint and Cozy KC. Take care, everyone, and I will talk to you soon.